Hi, Sarah Pacaro. I am going to be sharing with you today in this video 30 grounding techniques that you can use to quiet distressing thoughts. As a hypnotherapist, as a rapid transformational therapist, I work with people to release and remove those quiet distressing thoughts or those distressing thoughts and to quiet them down. A lot of people who have been in toxic and unhealthy relationships or experience anxiety or panic attacks or depression, whatever it is, they have quite distressing thoughts. And we need ways to quiet these. So today we're going to be going over 30 grounding techniques to quiet those distressing thoughts. Perhaps those thoughts are keeping you up at night and preventing you from being able to sleep, and preventing you from being able to function or to get the motivation that you need to perhaps even do something like shower or clean your house. Those things that if you did, you would feel much better. So I hope you enjoyed this video that goes over 30 grounding techniques to quiet those distressing thoughts. They're not cure-alls, but they are tips and tricks that will help you. The greatest benefit you can ever give yourself is to remove those from the subconscious mind, from the inner mind, that more powerful, expansive part of your mind that, as it holds on to these, causes the stress, the tension, the worry, the depression, the anxiety. But grounding is a practice that can help pull you away from flashbacks, from unwanted memories, from negative and challenging emotions. These techniques may also serve to help distract you. Distraction is not always a good thing. It can be an avoidant mechanism, but there are times and benefits where distracting yourself is positive. And these techniques can help distract you away from what you're experiencing, the distress in that moment, and refocus on what's happening in the present moment, get you really centered and grounded. So you can use these grounding techniques to create space from these distressed feelings in nearly any situation. But they're especially and particularly helpful if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, disassociation, if you have the urge to harm yourself, if you are experiencing traumatic memories and recalling those, or perhaps substance use disorder, if you're on your journey to healing and breaking away from using substances to avoid that emotional pain that you're experiencing. So the first ones that we're going to talk about are physical techniques. So physical techniques use your five senses or tangible objects, things you can touch to help you move through distress. So the first one is to pick up or touch items near you. This is one we're going to be going over in a moment, but I will sometimes just take my coffee mug and I'll just touch and I'll rub this part of it so I can connect with the different textures in it. So you can pick up or touch items near you and just go through this. Is this hard or soft? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it warm? Maybe feel the sensation of the warmth in it. Is it cool? Focus on the texture, focus on the color. I love the whites and this natural clay color. Challenge yourself to identify specific things about it, to focus on it. Maybe just focus on the colors as you touch this, as you feel it. Another thing you can do is put your hands in water. So what I used to do a lot when I was in the relationship with a narcissist, I would find myself taking very hot, very long showers and feeling the sensation and the heat of the water touching my skin, and imagined it cleansing my skin and washing away all that negativity, all that worry, all that stress. So focus on the temperature of the water, perhaps in a shower. Perhaps you just turn the water on in the sink and you just let the water run through your fingers and over your hands, the backs of your hands. Does it feel the same on the palm of your hands or the back of your hands? So use warm water and then perhaps switch to cold water or vice versa. Does it feel different? What's the experience like? Another thing you can do is breathe deeply. I do this with my daughter. I used to teach kids yoga, and I used to teach in a regular classroom as well. And I always would use this. It's called a Hoberman spear. And you can use this to give you a visualization of an external experience to breathe deeply. So perhaps if you have one of these, or you can just imagine your lungs filling up and expanding as you breathe in, whatever count, perhaps it's 3 or 4, maybe you hold it, and maybe you release and exhale. Or you can simply just close your eyes and say in out. With each breath, you can fill your lungs up with air and experience that feeling of your chest expanding, your ribs going out, and then them coming in as you exhale, and feel how good it feels to push that out. So maybe you just go in, out. And you do that a number of times, perhaps it's 10 times, until you feel your body just enter into a more calm, relaxed state. Another thing you can do is take a short walk. I will do this as like little mental breaks. And when I was teaching, we call them brain breaks. We get up and we just go for a walk. I would just go for a walk around the block and concentrate on your steps. I would even count my steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and get into a flow and notice the rhythm of your steps. Know how it feels to put your foot on the ground and then lift it back up again, and do that on your short walk. And then I imagine when you come back, you'll feel much more grounded, much more calm. You can hold on to a piece of ice. That's another thing you can do. Obviously, ice is frozen and very cold. So having that ice in your hand, you can notice how it begins to melt and notice what it feels like. How long does it take to start melting? You can watch it, and you can watch that water expand in the palm of your hand as that ice begins to melt. Notice the sensation. Is it getting so cold that you feel that you want to let it go and you want to put it down? Do you? How long do you put it down for? Perhaps you count during that time and then put it back in your hand and watch that experience happen again as you hold on to that ice and watch it shrink and fade. And you can imagine that ice are your worries, your problems, as they're melting, shrinking, and fading away as that ice turns into water. That's another thing you can do. Perhaps you I don't know if you like essential oils. I love essential oils. I have my diffuser that I'm blending constantly or running constantly. Here it is. I keep it right by my desk. And so I will, sometimes I will just actually open this. This actually is from doTERRA. It's called Adaptive. And I love this one for everything. So savor a scent. Is there a fragrance that appeals to you? Maybe it is a cup of coffee or tea. Maybe it's soap. Maybe it's a candle that you burn. Or maybe it's an essential oil. I use these all the time, and I have rollers and I put them on. So inhale. Inhale slowly and deeply, and notice the qualities. Is it spicy? Is it sharp? Is it citrusy? What is it? So this is a calming blend. It's one that I love. Another one I love is Balance. This is a grounding blend. So perhaps another really good one to use for your grounding techniques as you're savoring a scent. So that's another thing you can do. Another thing that you can do physically to detach from those distressing thoughts is to move your body. Try stretches. Sometimes especially when I have to drop off my daughter with a toxic narcissistic ex, in the car, right when the door shuts, I will just and I will shake it out and I will use my voice and volume and just, oh my gosh, right? And just shake it off, like physically. Sometimes I'll just move or like shake my face and I can feel my cheeks flap. And I can feel the muscles just releasing that. Pay attention to how your body feels with each movement. When your hands and feet touch the floor, or you just feel like, take that back. It's not mine. So moving your body. You can move the whole body too. And my daughter and I will do this sometimes, just, another thing you can do is just listen. Turn off the music, turn off the radio, turn off the notifications and the sounds on your phone, and take a few moments to just listen. Listen to the noises around you. If you're inside your home, do you hear the hum or the buzz of the air conditioning? Do you hear the sound of the toilet or the water going shh? If you're outside, do you hear birds? Do you hear dogs barking? Do you hear cars or traffic driving by? Do you hear people talking? What are they saying? Do you recognize the language? Perhaps you're somewhere and your ears pick up on the tone of a different language, another dialect. And just remind yourself of where you are and what you're hearing. Next thing you can do is to feel your body. And you can do this sitting or standing, noticing how your body feels from head to toe. Notice each part. Sometimes I do this, and I often sit with my legs crossed, and I'll notice I kind of feel off. And so I'll uncross my legs and cross them the other way. How does your body shift, change, or move when you do that? Can you feel hair on your shoulders or hair on your forehead? This happens to me all the time, especially while I'm filming these videos, and I'll notice that. Are there glasses? Do you feel glasses on your face, on your nose? How do they feel back here where they connect? Can you feel your heart beating? Is it fast? Is it slow? Does your stomach feel full or empty? Is your back straight? Are you slouching? Can you curl your fingers? I'll do this all the time and pop my fingers. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but feeling your body is another way to connect and get centered, grounded, and present. Another method I love is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, working and counting backwards from 5. Using your senses to listen, notice those things around you. For example, you might start by listing 5 things that you hear. I hear an airplane. I can hear the hum of the computer. I can hear the breath coming in and out of my body. 5 things you hear, and then 4 things that you see. 3 things that you can touch from where you're sitting. I can touch my glasses. I can touch my oils. I can touch my cup. 2 things you can smell. I can smell the coffee from this morning. I can smell the diffuser burning. 1 thing you can taste. I can taste the leftover coffee. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Make an effort to notice those things that you might not always pay attention to, such as the color and the carpet, the hum, that computer. Then there's mental techniques and tips and tricks you can use. These grounding techniques are mental distractions to redirect your thoughts away from distressing feelings and again back to the present moment. Play a memory game. Perhaps you look at a detailed picture. My daughter painted this for me, and I absolutely love it. And she described it to me. We love hiking and being in nature. So perhaps you look at a picture or another picture in your office, and then turn that photograph or that picture upside down. And then in your mind, recreate that picture, that photograph. What did you see? What's included? Try and recall as many details as possible. Mentally list all the things that you can remember from that picture. That's a memory game you can play. The next thing you can do is think in categories. And this is fun. People do this as at party games as well. Choose 2 categories, perhaps ice cream flavors and mammals, and take a minute or 2 to go through a mental list and thinking of as many things in that category as you can. Ice cream flavors, cookies and cream, praline, salted caramel, mint chocolate chip, and just go through that in the categories. Mammals, okay, dolphins, tigers, giraffes, and just go through that. And then you'll notice your mind will just naturally go towards something else, but in that moment, you're free from the distressing thoughts. Another thing you can do as a mental technique is to use numbers and use math. Even if you're not a math person, numbers can help center you. Run through the times tables in your head. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Don't ask me what the next one is. But you can do times tables in your head, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You can make a game of it, right? As you go through the times tables in your head. This can be fun if your kids are at that age where they're learning that as well. Maybe play a game and challenge each other. Perhaps you start at 100 and you count backwards. We use this in a hypnosis technique as we're going deeper and deeper into hypnosis, starting at 100, 99, your relaxation doubling now, 98, your relaxation doubling even more with each number you count. So counting backwards from 100 all the way. And imagine your relaxation doubling with each number you count. That's another one you can use with numbers. Choose a number and think of 5 ways you could make the number. Okay, perhaps 6 plus 11 is 17. How else can I make 17? Well, I can take 20 and I can take away 3, that's 17. Or I can take 2 and I can multiply it by 8 and that's 16, and then I add 1 and that's 17. So choose a number and think of 5 different ways you could make that number. Next thing you can do is recite something. Think of a poem or a song. I love that. Songs pop into my head all the time that match the feeling, that experience that I'm having. Thankfully, they're very positive ones, especially in conversations with people. I'll just be like, oh, that reminds me of a song. And I'll just start singing it. Recite it quietly to yourself, a poem, a song, a passage, a verse. Say those words out loud. Focus perhaps on the shape of each word, on your lips, in your mouth. You say those words in your head, visualize each word coming out of your mouth, seeing it on a page. Another very, very powerful, positive, quick and easy thing you can do to ground yourself is make yourself laugh. Make up a silly joke. I do this all the time with my daughter. I tell me I'm going to rhyme and then we laugh. I'm not very good at it, but I tell her I'm like the worst rapper I know because that's what we do. We'll just make up a silly joke or we'll make rhymes. Or maybe you go get a popsicle and you enjoy the popsicle and then you read the joke. And she'll tell me, Mommy, do you want to hear a dirty joke? And I go, yes. And she said, so white horse fell in the mud. And she tells me that all the time when I tell her, honey, tell me a joke. Should I tell you a dirty joke? A white horse fell in the mud. And I laugh. Or perhaps you can just fake laugh and and you can just begin to laugh. And as you begin to laugh, even if there's nothing funny, there's no joke, you notice you begin to smile. And as you smile and you laugh, endorphins are released in your system, naturally pulling you into the present moment, causing you to feel better, taking you away from those distressing thoughts. So just start laughing. Or maybe you throw in like a funny clip on YouTube or something, or whatever it is, anything that you know that will make you laugh, or just start laughing. Another thing you can use is these are many different things that they're called, affirmations, mantras, or an anchoring phrase. Perhaps it's something like an anchoring phrase where you just identify facts about yourself. My name is Sarah Pacaro. I am 35 years old, almost 36. I live in, and you can name the city, you can name the state that you live in. Today is May 8th, 2021. It is 10:49. I'm at my desk and I'm working. I'm alone in my room, and you can expand on this and add as many details as you need to until you simply notice that you feel calm. You're away from those distressing thoughts. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about what you see again. So use anchoring phrases. Another thing you can do is visualize a daily task that you enjoy or that you don't mind doing. Like if you like doing laundry, if you like feeling those clothes come out of the dryer and just how warm they are, and then feeling those clothes as you fold each of them, how good it feels to put the clothes on a hanger and put them in the right place in your closet. If you don't like doing laundry, don't use that one. But visualize a daily task that you don't mind doing or that you enjoy doing. Feeling those clothes, how soft they are as they come out of the dryer. I like shaking the towels first before I fold them. I like that sound. And then I like the feeling as they get folded and they fit nicely on the shelf. I like looking at it and going, nice and organized. Another thing you can do is describe a common task. If you think of an activity that you do well or you do often, like a common task, mine is making coffee, I can visualize, okay, I'm going to go to my cabinet, I'm going to pull out the coffee grounds, put it in there, I'm going to smell of the coffee, hear the bzzz as the coffee grounds, and then I know what I'm going to do to pour the hot water into the French press, wait, and then the sound it makes when it pours in my cup. Describe a common task. And you can talk to yourself. We talk to ourselves all the time. Or you can talk to yourself, or you can say, hey, with a friend, can we do this really weird, quirky little thing? I'm going to describe to you how I make my coffee. And they'll probably look at you like, oh, sure. Okay. Another thing you can do is imagine, picture yourself. Imagine leaving those painful feelings behind. Just picture yourself. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. We go into a daze, we go into a trance and hypnosis naturally all the time. Anytime you're sitting there like this, you don't have to have your eyes closed to picture or imagine things. So just picture yourself leaving those painful feelings behind. Perhaps you pick a spot, you stare at it, and then you picture and you imagine yourself gathering the emotions, balling them up, putting them into a box, chucking that box in the trash. Maybe you picture yourself walking, swimming, biking, jogging, running away from those painful feelings. You see them there. You picture yourself getting away, swimming away, running away from those painful feelings. Imagine turning your thoughts into a song or a TV show. Rappers do this all the time. Musicians and artists do this all the time. They sing their feelings, their thoughts. There's a story and they create it and they put it into a song. You can do the same thing. You don't have to be famous to do it. You can create your own song. And imagine turning your thoughts into a show or TV, movie, or a song that you don't like. And imagine changing the channel, turning the song, turning the station. And they're still there, that picture, that song, that show, but you don't have to listen to it. So imagine you've changed the channel or turned down the volume, whatever it is. That's a really fun one, as you imagine leaving the painful experiences behind. Next thing you can do is begin to describe what's around you. Spend a few minutes taking in your surroundings. Notice what you see. And again, using all five senses to describe that. Soothing techniques you can use to comfort yourself in times of emotional distress. These can help you obviously promote much more beneficial, powerful, positive feelings and fade those negative feelings away, especially when they seem so overwhelming. They can seem less overwhelming. Perhaps they're still there, but the sense and level of overwhelm can shrink and fade and diminish. And you can do this by picturing the voice or the face of someone that you love. Even when my daughter is with her dad, I can just see her face. I can hear her voice, that cute little inner voice, that inner little smile, laughter, and giggle that she gets when she's explaining something or she tells me her dirty joke. I can always just picture her voice and her face. And do this with someone that you love, especially when you feel distressed. Visualize someone positive in your life. Imagine their face. Think of their voice, what it sounds like. Imagine them telling you, I love you. I love you. I do this when my daughter tells me she goes to bed every night. And when I get really upset, I can just, and I can hear her voice telling me, I love you, mommy, just before she goes to bed at night. And that reminds me that in that moment is tough and it sucks. But hearing her voice and seeing her face as she says it gets me through it. Another thing you can do is practice self-kindness. You can repeat compassionate phrases to yourself. You can say things like, you are strong. You're moving through this. You are trying hard. You are doing your best. You've got this. That used to be mine. I actually had it on a sticky note when I had started a new job years ago, and I wrote, you've got this. So when I sat down and I felt overwhelmed and flooded with stress, I can't do this, I would read the sticky note and it said, you've got this. And I put it right up there on my computer. You can say it out loud or you can say it in your head as many times as you need until you feel that sense of calm wash over you. You're having a tough time, but you'll make it through this. Whatever that phrase is, you practice self-kindness by repeating that phrase. Another thing you can do, if you have an animal or pet, you just sit at home with your pet. You can go, hey, my dog's name is Theo. Theo, come here. Come here, Theo. Come here. And he jumps up on my lap and I can pet him. And just for a moment, I sit with him and I pet him. And I feel his fur. And I look at his beautiful, cute little eyes as he looks at me like, yeah? Notice their markings. Notice the little things about them that make them unique, the little characteristics. We're in Arizona, and my dog Theo went outside when we first moved here, and he was chewing on cactus, and it cut his little lip open. For a while, he had a scab there, and then it's healed, and the fur doesn't grow back there anymore. So I noticed that. I noticed the little characteristics about him, his little traits, and I can feel his fur. So try this if you have a pet. Or if you're not at home, just imagine being at home and the feeling of being with your pet, how they comfort you, how they climb up and crawl underneath the covers and lie behind your legs at night. So imagine being with your pet, or actually go be with your pet. Another thing you can do is list your favorites. List 3 favorite things in different categories. List your 3 favorite foods, your 3 favorite movies, your 3 places that you visited or traveled, and so on. And 3 is a really powerful, energetic number. So if you can choose different categories and list at least 3 things in that could quickly and easily ground you. Another thing you can do is visualize your favorite place. Have you gone on vacation somewhere? Have you traveled somewhere? Or perhaps is there a place on your vision board where you haven't gone yet? But close your eyes and imagine being there. Imagine maybe mine is Fiji, right? Haven't been there yet. I will be there someday. But imagine you can see the blues of the ocean and you can feel the wind and the waves and hear the waves crashing. So visualize your favorite place. Maybe it's your mom's house. Maybe it's your best friend's house. Maybe it's your favorite restaurant, wherever it is. And remember, if you have been there before, the last time you were there, what was it like? Who were you there with, if anyone? What did you do while you were there? How did you feel? And just visualize your favorite place. Next thing you can do is plan an activity. And we always feel better when we have something positive to look forward to. So mine, I used to do a lot of marathons. And so after one would finish, I would kind of get this, So what I would do is I would go home and I would plan the next one and I would have it on the calendar. I plan this activity. And maybe it's not a marathon or something physical, but maybe you plan a lunch date with a friend, or maybe you plan to go see a friend who moved away and lives in a different state. And think about, you'll do plan it. Where do you want to go to dinner? What do you want to do when we get there? Maybe it's a movie that you've been looking forward to, planning to go see that movie. So planning an activity can ground you, bring you into this present moment. Focus on the details. What am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? You know what? Maybe you pull up the menu for the restaurant you want to go to. So you plan this activity. That can get you centered, focused, and grounded, and give you something positive to look forward to in your future. Touch something comforting. Maybe this is a favorite blanket. Perhaps it's a t-shirt. My daughter's got tons of stuffed animals, and some of the ones that I have when I was younger, she has. Perhaps it's a rug. I've got in my bathroom, a floor mat that I love. I love the way it feels underneath my feet. And I notice every time I walk across it, I just feel really good. So go touch something that's comforting. Maybe it's a scarf, a sweater, or a pair of socks, really comfortable socks or pajamas. Put them on. And in that moment, experience how soft and how good it feels for that fabric to be touching your skin. Another thing you can do is list positive things. You can just grab a sheet of paper, notebook, or a journal, and you can just start writing positive things in your life that bring you joy. Visualize each of them. And I do this every day. I use the 5-minute journal, and that's 3 things that are going to make today great. And you can start to list things that bring you joy, because what you focus on, you get more of. And as you're writing and listing those things that bring you joy, you will begin to notice and experience feeling joy. So list the things that you love. List positive things. The last tip that I'm going to give you is listen to music. Put on your favorite song, but imagine you're hearing it for the first time. Really listen to the words. Really hear the words. So many songs just send chills through my body, give me goosebumps. So focus on the melody and the lyrics, how the song experiences in your body. Look at your skin as your skin gets those goosebumps. Hearing those words that connect with you, those parts that stand out to you most as you listen to music. And I encourage you to listen to a song that makes you feel good. So these tips and techniques are not always easy, because in that moment you're having those distressed and distorted thoughts. You tend to feel stuck there. So just pick maybe 1 or 2 of these to do and just start with those. The ones that resonate most with you, just begin with those and focus on those. And then, and only then, do you move on to another one or add another one, because there's so many different things you can do. Some will feel good and some won't feel as good, or some will feel more difficult to do, but don't give up on them. Just like everything that you get better at, it takes practice, it takes time. So that's the number one thing, is to remember that this is not like a one-time thing. You need to practice this over and over, and start early. The first thing that you can do to start off your day in a positive way is to do one of these. Try a grounding exercise when you first start to feel bad. Don't wait until you have felt bad for hours or days. When you first start to feel bad, then do this grounding exercise and technique. Don't allow yourself to just sit in that muck and in that yuck for a long time before you go, you know what, I'm going to do a grounding technique. I'm going to do one of those things that Sarah told me to do. You'll find that when you do that, you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you reach a level that's harder to handle. If that technique doesn't work at first, try a different one, right? And then check in with yourself before the grounding exercise, during it, and after it. Check in with yourself. Rate the distress from 1 to 10. What level did you begin with? Well, before I did this exercise, I was at a 10. And now I'm at a 3 or 4, right? So by rating it, it can give you a better idea of how this particular grounding technique is working for you. Maybe when you did this one, it took you from a 10 only to a 6. Well, you wanted to feel better than a 6, so you could try a different one, and you went from a 10 to a 4. better. Stick with that one then. So check in with yourself. Keep your eyes open if it feels right. Close your eyes if it feels right. Sometimes it's often easier to connect to the present moment if you're looking at your environment. So a lot of these grounding techniques you can do with your eyes open. You don't have to be like in a state of meditation. They say close your eyes, and so many people that I've connected with say I can't meditate. I close my eyes and my mind is like ah. So sometimes having your eyes open, it causes more distress. So all of the techniques that we went over today are to help you ground, disassociate, disconnect from those distorted thoughts in the moment. But you'll find that the relief that they provide is generally temporary, and your mind may begin to go back to that distorted thought. And it's important. It's really, really, really important to work with someone to get to the root of it, to identify and be aware of what is causing the distressing thoughts. And that is why I work as a hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist, because you can open up that gateway between the conscious and unconscious mind and really get into your inner mind, your subconscious or unconscious mind, the place within your mind that's causing the problem, the very root of it, and allow you to be free from it. So if you're finding that you're using these grounding tips, techniques, and they are helping, but there's more, and you're ready to go there, you're ready to explore that more so that you can be free from it internally, then I would love to talk about rapid transformational therapy and about hypnosis to guide you to doing just that. I hope that you take a couple of these and you try them on and that they do work for you. But if you're ready for more and you're ready to go deeper, click in the link in the video and there's my schedule. It'll pop open through my website and we can talk more about working one-on-one together. Until then, enjoy all of these techniques and we'll connect again very soon.